All right, here we are. We're at Big Brother Canada season 10, episode 16. And this was the most frustrating to watch, mainly because of Marty. I've never seen someone so chaotic in my life. He he makes so many emotional decisions. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. He was doing so well, and then he started just making alliances. I think when he started working with Kevin, that's when his game just sort of took a turn. It's like all the players in the game that have just been making bad moves, he was aligned with them. He was part of why that alignment with Kyle. And then when Kyle started turning left, he started turning left. And now he's with Kevin. And he for some reason he can't tell when Kevin is lying to him. But he hates when people lie to him, but he's a natural liar. He's very good at lying. It doesn't even faze him, but then he wants to protect his reputation. He wants people to see him as an honest person, and it doesn't make any sense. He's all over the place, and he's angry and shouting at people like he's having a mental breakdown, and it's all very shocking and troubling. I don't know what's going on right now with him in the game. It just took me out of the whole sort of game atmosphere to just watch him break down like that. It's just yeah, it's like something personal is going on in his life where he's, I think it's mainly just he's trying to fight the image that he knows people are going to see him for who he is, and he can't hide it because it's pretty much recorded. It's not going to be a secondhand thing where someone is talking about him to people that know him in his personal life, and then he could just make up a story and lie to them. I think he's realizing that people are going to see the truth of who he is, and which is understandable. Just being confronted in that way, where if you build your life based on how you want people to see you, it's a little shocking and troubling when they actually see the truth of who you really are. And I guess I can understand that, but he still has to play the game, and yeah, it's not a good look. It just, I don't know. He's doing too much. He's making promises to Gino. He's telling him, let's give you a little. Oops, there we go. As you can see, he's right there making promises to Gino and telling Gino, I'll put up whoever you want me to put up. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm going to prove to you that you can trust me. Right there. And then Gino's telling him who he wants to put up. He wants Moose up there. And he's like, since you want Josh out, you can just put up Moose and you can put up Josh. And if Josh wins the veto, then you put up Betty next to Moose, because he mainly wants Moose out. And well, we'll see what happens. It's very troubling, the moves that he's making. I just don't understand that. And then he then he said he's going to talk to Moose. Immediately has a conversation with Moose. I'll show you right here, to let him know that he's going to put him on the block. Just to let him know he's going to put him on the block as a pawn, which is what Gino told him to tell Moose. But then Moose just shots back with, well, I understand if that's what you want me to do, I'm willing to do it. But have you thought about what happens if Betty, who's not going to be on the block, what if she wins and takes off Josh? And then he was like, well, okay, I never really thought of that. Immediately, just that thought in his head, even though he promised Moose prior to Gino talking to him that he's going to keep him safe. He can kick your feet up. I think there's a famous line now at this point because he keeps telling people that you can kick your feet up. You're not going to be on the block. Told that to Moose, and then he immediately had to go back on his word after Gino told him to put up Moose. He immediately had to go back on his word, which becomes kind of status quo for him. But then Moose puts a little question to him, and now he doesn't know what to do. I don't understand this man. I don't understand the moves that he's making. And then finally, he puts up Betty and Josh, the two people he wanted to put up, which goes against what he's going to tell Gino that he was going to do. The reason he told Gino he's going to do that, and then to prove that he was going to do it, he told Moose that he was going to put him up. So that he's making all these promises and he's doing things that he don't want to do in order to fulfill a promise that he ultimately doesn't fulfill. What are you doing, sir? At a certain point, people are seeing who you actually are. You're not being portrayed in a negative way. You are this person. You're constantly just trying to portray something to other people. You're trying to tell them what you want them to hear and think about you. But then ultimately you're doing whatever you want to do. And then you expect them not to look at that and not to factor that into what you're doing. Obviously, Betty is upset. Josh is upset. They kind of called him out because he gave this whole speech after he puts them up about, I'm hearing talk about someone about people trying to want to consider me a backdoor option. And he's saying, well, if you want to backdoor a 43-year-old man with a bad knee and a bad shoulder, I think he said, then I hope you can be proud of that as a big brother player. And I'm just like, he backdoored people before. And which is something that Josh called out. He's backdoored people before. And I'm like, who is saying he's a backdoor option? I haven't heard anyone speak about him being a backdoor option. This is all new information. So then he calls Summer up. Into the HO. Well, he didn't call her up there. She went up there to go talk to him. She went up there to go talk to him to see if he's okay, because he was just staying in the HOH room and not coming down to talk to people. And that's when he reveals to her that he heard that she was going around saying that he was a backdoor option. And she told that to Jess. And Jess told him that Summer did that. And that's why he gave that whole speech, because it was one person, and Jess said that, which was actually a lie. Jess lied to him, and Summer never said that. So now he's upset with Summer, and now he's telling Summer, if it wasn't for what happened with the votes, he would have been putting her up. So now he's falling out with more people for no reason. He just lost trust with Moose, lost trust with Gino, JC Lynn, lost trust with Summer, lost trust with definitely Josh and whoever's aligned with Josh and Betty. The only two people he has now are the ones that are manipulating him, which is Helena and Kevin. He's almost an idiot savant in a certain way, because even with all his fumbling, he always ends up making the right moves. It's weird. We go to the HOH competition, the POV competition, sorry. And ultimately, the winner of the POV competition was Kevin. It would have been Gino, but Gino, for some reason, doesn't know how to spell the word nominees. He misspelled nominees, and Kevin ended up winning the POV. So then, after that whole POV competition, Kevin is excited. He's aligned with, Marty's excited because he's aligned with Kevin, and Kevin just won the POV, and he's HOH. But then Helena immediately goes up to the HOH room and starts trying to convince him to put up Herman on the block as a replacement and send him home, because Herman has already spoke about that he's going to go after Kevin and Helena. Which I was like, that, and even Marty knows that. Herman wasn't targeting him. He's after Kevin and Helena, even though he's aligned with them. Not your best game move to take out people just because they're targeting your allies if they're not targeting you. Because then you're doing someone else's dirty work. And if the game ever becomes inconvenient at a certain point, those same allies can take you out. Considering Kevin was the main one that was pushing to get rid of Gino, and that's the same thing you were mad about, that you felt that you were tricked into betraying Gino again, even though you were voting him out. Like, what would happen if you actually voted him out? Would you not have still betrayed him? If those people actually did what they said they were going to do, you would have voted him out, but you were willing to do it. I just don't get this, man. So he's considering putting up Herman on the block. Herman comes and talks to him. And he's lying like he does, even though he says he's an honest person, lies straight to Herman's face, saying, you don't have to worry about anything. I already told Kevin not to use the veto. So you don't really have to worry about anything. You just kick your feet up or whatever. And then Herman looks into the camera and starts talking about how everyone is going against each other and no one's looking at him, and starts speaking about his plans to betray Marty. And I'm just like, God damn it. He did it again. Some reason, with all his fumblings, he always ends up making the right move. I don't get this. But that's the end. He hasn't done it yet, but we'll see in the next episode if he actually puts Herman up there. But it seems like it came around to be a good move. I don't know how. But there it is. All right. Till the next one.